As we go through and as we continue to put on the greatest show, greatest morning show on the face of this earth, I have some thoughts. I think that we have lost our way as people. I think that we have turned away from God. I think that we have turned away from the things that are best for us. And it's only being reflected in the things that we see happening every day. From our relationships, all of our households are broken. Y'all are single baby mamas, diseases, people don't have no loyalty amongst each other. You tear up your own households, you ruin your own neighborhoods. You are influenced by and don't think for yourself. You wait for somebody to tell you how to think instead of having a coherent thought. I think that we are absolutely broken as Americans and as a culture, as a Western culture, when it comes to race and race relations, because instead of us understanding that it's a class war, we focus so much on whether or not we think that somebody is against us or if you should align with somebody just based off of things that you can't control. Some people align with people just based off of the fact that they're a woman or a man or you a simp. And it's women that find their peace amongst other women that can champion my cause at that particular time. Have you ever noticed how we group ourselves off and then we don't necessarily ever leave that group, but we find a sense of loyalty or dedication to it just because they accepted you, right? Some of y'all are, I hate to say it. The only reason that you align with black people is because you don't necessarily believe that black people is right. It's just because you black. That's it. And the word says, and even the Bible says, that your family is not the people that you were born to, right? When Mary came looking for Jesus, when they were with the apostles, and the Acts of the Apostles in particular, and I'm just recalling this, and I'm literally just giving you my honest to God thoughts. When Mary was coming looking for Jesus and she was knocking, and Jesus said, listen, y'all my brothers and sisters, y'all my mother, y'all the people that I'm going in the direction that I'm going in. Yes, I can acknowledge my parents and I can give them honor. And yes, I can treat people with respect. And yes, I can also be there for my family because I know them and I grew up with them, but I'm not with them just because they're my family. I rock with people in my family in particular, not all of them, but most of them, because they actually have my best interests at heart. And that's why I rock with the bag chasers. If you're not a Patreon member, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I roll with people that roll with me. I have uncomfortable conversations with people that think differently than me because maybe I can adopt some of the things that they think or do or the things that they're doing right. I don't have to agree with them on everything. I don't think that you should agree with me on everything. I don't know anybody that agrees 100% with anybody that they cool with, because we all have differences of opinion. We all have different experiences, and we all are supposed to formulate our thoughts based off of the things that we see. And then we take into consideration what you say and compare that against our real life experiences and then come to a conclusion. And then hopefully we continue to be better than we was the day before. But we're not doing that today. The only thing that we're doing today is we're being impacted by decisions that somebody else made for us to force us to think a certain way because it's the popular thing to do. It's never popular to go against the grain. Never popular to go against the grain, ever. And that's how we become divided. Because the first people that then say, you know what? I'm not aligning with this agenda just because I'm black. I'm not going to sit here and buy a Black Lives Matters t-shirt just because I'm black. And if you start thinking for yourself and you start having critical thinking skills, they'll criticize you for it. But the biggest obstacle that you have as a free thinker is to withstand the criticism and continue to explore. Because if I ask too many questions, it's similar to how a lot of y'all grew up in church or you grew up in your household. If you ask enough questions and you say, well, listen, I do think that Black Lives Matters, but the context is that I don't think that you respect each other enough to even make that statement because you kill each other in your own neighborhoods. Or why should I buy this Black Lives Matters t-shirt and I don't even know who these people are that is a part of this organization? Oh man, I did a little bit of more research. They're going to criticize you, but you keep doing the research. And you say, wait a minute, this is a Marxist organization that is ran by black lesbians. And the sheep are going to continue to tell you, listen, it don't matter. You still black, so you can't go against us. You got to be a part of the sister code or the brother code or stay on code. Give your money to the people. And even though they're going to make you look like a fool in the end, you do it because you are peer pressured by people that don't even have your best interests at heart. And so if I don't wear a dashiki, even though I may have a black wife, or if I don't sit here and donate to a Marxist organization that eventually finessed y'all, and we told y'all that they was going to finesse y'all, but I make sure that I pour into my community, you're going to say that you're blacker than me, even though my actions show that I'm more pivotal towards the progress and the success of my city and my country and my community, and even to the people that I love more than you. Think about it. The hypocrisy is so real that you could be a single baby daddy, wear a dashiki, get your hair nappy, and ask for donations online. Meanwhile, I could be 20 years in, married to a black wife, be the father or daughter, be a community and a pillar, speak to the kids in the high schools, give people jobs that 98, 99% of them are black and women, and you can be considered blacker than me. You could be considered blacker than me. But see, the one thing that I lean on, and the reason why I'm so steadfast, is because he said that they would persecute you, and that if you don't suffer with me, then you can't reign with me. So I'm not worried about what they think. The only thing that we use this platform for is to entertain, get the money out of it, and then make sure that we pluck out all of the ones that want to listen. We're not worried about the majority. We're worried about the minority. The ones that have ears, let them hear. And so we then teach it, and we preach it, and we entertain you, but at the same time, we invite you in as an opportunity to be able to level up and align yourself with a group of people that's going in the direction that you're going in. And one of the reasons why we're so divided is because we're not tolerant of the possibility of what if. Biden was 100% wrong when he assessed this whole Trump narrative, or, you know what, we need to calm the political climate. It's not the political climate. It's the core of who we are at our hearts. It's who we are in our hearts. It's who you are when you go to sleep at night. It's when you wake up in the morning, how do you feel? People are fundamentally broken in the inside, and you can't sit here and have a conversation with people that are fundamentally broken in the inside, because what happens is they are unable to think clearly. They can't have real coherent thoughts because they're influenced by the things that's happening around them. I'll give you a prime example. It's hard to tell a kid that is hungry and is coming from a broken household that is going to school that they can focus when they're in school. It's very much difficult to teach that child. So the core root of the problem isn't just on the surface to say we all need to calm down. No, you need to stop having children out of wedlock and creating a poverty-stricken situation that would then force this child to be more focused on whether or not their stomach is growling than whether or not this calculus problem is what it is. It's not that you couldn't learn in school. It was that you was hungry. It's not that you couldn't learn in school. It's that you were hungry. You don't have a problem with math. Your stomach was growling. You don't have a reading problem. Your uncle was touching on you at the crib. You ain't got no daddy in your life, because I just reviewed a video of a woman that said that she got 7 kids by 7 baby daddies, and you're not upset at that. We're divided because you're ignorant. We're divided because you're not intentional. We're divided because you only want to hear and stand in a space that make you feel good because you're so used to being molested and touched on and feeling bad. And so the first time that somebody accepts you when they give you a little bit of meat, and they tell you that you cute, you're willing to open up your legs. You're willing to accept whatever agenda that they have for you. You're willing to say that all men is bandits because they want to make you feel better about the fact that you chose wrong. But we're divided because we're broken at the core of who we are as Americans. We don't stand for anything anymore because we're so distracted by all of the things that's happening to us instead of the things that's happening around us. How can I pay attention to what's happening around me when I'm under duress and I'm getting my ass kicked every day? You can't feed yourself, right? You don't have the ability to be able to provide for yourself. You got student loan debt from self-inflicted wounds because your parents that was a part of a liberal party told you to go and get student loans, and you felt compelled and you was happy. So you took out these student loans because I was going to be the first person in my family to go to college. And it didn't matter what curriculum you was a part of or what degree program that you was supposed to be a part of, but they led you into a den of destruction. And so instead of you aligning yourself, when you listen to me, and you say, I don't like him, you're fighting against your own best interests. You're fighting against your own best interest. You like the people that tell you what you want to hear. You don't like the person that tells you the truth. And I understand it. I get it. But I also understand that in the same way that you're supposed to tell them and let them come back to it, I don't need the credit. I just want you to be better. Because I don't want you to hurt nobody in your community. I don't want you to hate women. I don't want you to be broke. I don't want you to be begging the government for student loan forgiveness and voting a certain way that's not in your best interest just because you're looking for somebody to forgive you. The core of who we are as far as becoming a better person is to remove the beam out of their own eye. The division comes from being broken as an individual and as a person. You ain't got to go to therapy. I'm going to tell you what's wrong with you right here, right now. The reason why you so broken and the reason why you can't get yourself together, the reason why you broke, the reason that you vote the way that you vote, the reason that your kids don't like you, the reason that you're going to get fired tomorrow because you got a bad attitude at your job, the reason why you continue to align yourself with a group of incels on the internet, the reason why you continue to align yourself with a bunch of feminists that know that they want a man, but refuse to admit the fact that they don't want to go out there and compete with a monster like me for resources in order to be able to take care of themselves. The reason that you are that way is because you are broken in the inside. We broken as Americans. We can't focus on coming together. You can't tell a bunch of people to come together until they got themselves together. The only time that people come together that are broken is in order to mob up against something that they don't like. That's it. That's the only time that people come together. Only people that are whole and wholesome can have an uncomfortable conversation and come together, agree to disagree, because they actually want the best thing for themselves. It's the same thing with sports. The reason that sports fans are so easily able, even though they come from different walks of life, you can be living there, I can live in the city, you can be white, I can be black, but we all rooting for the same team. You know why? Because we got a common interest in this team, bringing us together and then ultimately, hopefully giving us a championship. And we can go all our lives. You could be the Chicago Bears and be one of the most trash teams in the league. The Detroit Lions, just a few years ago, was 0-16 almost. You know what I'm saying? But the minute that they started to win, we all came together and we started to have solidarity. You know why? You know why? Because we have a similar interest, a similar goal. And the only time in other situations that people then come together when they are broken, is when they don't like somebody else. It's the reason why people that's on the liberal side then tell you. If you ask them and you have a conversation with them and you say, hey, who you voting for and why? And they say, I'm voting for Biden. And then you say, okay, well, tell me why. They're not going to say because this policy helped me or the infrastructure deal was awesome or I love the fact that we sent the money over to Ukraine or anything like that. They're going to say, I'm voting for him because I don't like Trump. And so people come together often at times and they depending on you. They banking on it. They betting on it that you're going to come together with somebody that don't even have your best interests at heart to make sure that y'all form a group against somebody else. But this is what I will also tell you is that when you do this and it happens, and whatever it is take place, let's say that you're successful, you never feel good as a result of it afterwards. You don't feel better after you do the crime. You don't feel better after you get what you want. You just become more hungry for more of it because you think that it's going to satisfy you. But at some point you realize that that craving, that sugar that you're putting in your system is not fulfilling. It's just a dopamine hit. It's a temporary solution for a circumstance that you still gonna have to wake up and deal with. You still got to deal with your broken self. You still got to deal with your baby mama. You still got to deal with the fact that you broke. At the end of the day, and I tell people this all the time, even if you're mad at me, you still got to wake up and be you. I'm good. For every video that's ever been made against me, or for anybody that has ever said anything negative about me, they promoted me. I will tell you over the past 2 weeks, and the numbers speak to it, I've probably had one of the best past 2 weeks on YouTube in my entire life. I can't miss. I'm trending in the algorithm. I'm winning on every single level. When people take their time out to make a video in order to say that they don't like something that I said or something like that, they help me. YouTube promotes me. I talked to my YouTube representative and they said, Anton, you on fire. Keep doing what you're doing. It's a blessing. You don't hurt people, you hurt yourself. And so the thing that you should do is to look to fix you. Get the beam out of that own eye, fix yourself, so that you can then create a better environment and make a better decision, not based off of your emotions, but based off of logic, based off of the fact that you should not be aligning with people just because they look like you, or you should not be getting this job just because you're in a diversity, equity, and inclusion program. You should not be voting or feeling some type of way about this assassination attempt other than sympathy for the person or the person that's ultimately hurt in the result of this, because this should never happen in our country. We're so divided that the first thing that people say is it's a conspiracy theory or this is fake or it was a setup, instead of saying, is he okay? It's the first thing that we should be saying is are they okay? But because we broken in here, it's going to show in every other aspect of our lives. And you can't hide it. Because eventually we're going to pull that hole up out of you. It is what it is. Fix you, and then you can focus on what the community wants. Until then, shut the fuck up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, and make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat.